So back again, final leg. We are talking about the NCAA, another weekend of amazing marks from both the men and the women, again in the field and on the track. Some NCAA leaders, some world leaders. We're going to talk about it all. We're going to start off with the women first here. So first up on the women's side, the 60-meter dash saw a new NCAA lead. Last weekend, we saw Mary Beth Saint drop an amazing 7.18 in that 60-meter dash. This weekend, we saw Destiny Smith-Barnett from UNLV. She dropped a 7.17 in the 60-meter dash. Huge mark for her to take that NCAA lead. In addition, we also saw a 7.19 put down by Courtney Johnson from LSU. So we already have 3 women this season under 7.20 in the 60 meters. Really fast marks, and we're only in January so far. Next, moving up to the 200 meters, we have Kennedy Flannel of Texas, a freshman at Texas. She dropped a 22.88 in the 200 meters. Huge personal best for her. Again, she's only a freshman, so just a couple weeks into the NCAA as a whole, she's definitely going to be one to look out for when it comes to NCAAs this season. Next up, at the MLK Invite at Albuquerque, we saw the sophomore from USC, Kaylin Roberts. She dropped a 52.54 to take the NCAA lead in the 400 meters. Very fast mark, very significant. Definitely going to get her into those NCAA championships this year. Now, moving on to the field events, we got Andrea Stapleton from BYU. She was jumping at the Air Force meet this weekend. We saw her jump 1.87 meters in the high jump. That's a huge mark, and that's a mark that would have won NCAA championships last year. So definitely look out for her to improve throughout the season, challenge for that NCAA title in March. Now, moving over to the shot put, we saw Andrea Noning from Arizona State competing at her home meet. She dropped a 17.81 in the shot put, a huge mark for her, also an NCAA leader in the event. Then finally, we had 2 women in the pentathlon put down some really strong marks. Jordan Gray from Kennesaw State, she got 4,218 points in the pentathlon to take the NCAA lead. Behind her, we saw Grace McKenzie from McNeese State. She put up 4,211 points. So those are the top 2 times in the NCAA, and they definitely should get them both into the NCAA championship meet this year. So that's it for the women. On the men's side, we had just as many NCAA leaders and huge marks put down by a lot of guys across the country. So first off, from the men, we saw one of the biggest marks of the weekend, 20.41 in that 200 meters. Andrew Hudson of Texas Tech running at his home meet. Significant world lead, huge personal best for him. Really strong mark that's setting him up for the rest of the season. Hopefully going to be a strong contender for that NCAA title this year. Keeping at the Red Raider Invite, Texas Tech was really dominating their home meet. We saw Vincent Chris in the 600 yards. He ran 1 minute, 8.46 seconds, improving the top mark in the NCAA this year. That's actually number 5 all time in the NCAA. Last year, he actually ran 1 minute, 8.16 seconds. So he now owns 2 of the top 5 600-yard marks all time in the NCAA. Very significant mark and really good performance from him. Keeping with the 600 theme, this time in the 600 meters, we saw Isaiah Jewett from USC running at the MLK Invite. He threw down a 1 minute 15.95 seconds 600 meters. That moved him to number 8 all time in the NCAA. So really significant weekend for both the 600 meters and the 600 yards. Now heading back to the Red Raider Invite at Texas Tech, Houston's men's 4x4. They ran 3 minutes 3.31 seconds. That moved them to the number 4 team all time in the NCAA. Really strong mark. One of the fastest 4x4 marks in January ever. Right behind them, we saw Texas Tech finish second, running 3 minutes 4.93 seconds. So very fast marks for that 4x4 this year. So keeping it at Texas Tech, but this time we saw Rayvon Gray of LSU in the field. We saw him jump 8.6 meters in the long jump. Really huge NCAA lead, and one we hope to see him improve upon throughout the season. Now moving on to the triple jump, we saw O'Dane Lewis, who previously had the NCAA lead in the long jump. This time in the triple jump, he managed to jump 16.44 meters. A huge mark for him. Definitely one of the top jumps in the NCAA. But we saw John Warren of Southern Mississippi. He was jumping at Vanderbilt. He managed to jump 16.81 meters in the triple jump, taking that NCAA lead. That holds up as one of the top marks in the NCAA we've seen in a couple years, so likely going to be that front runner when we're heading into the NCAA championships this year. Now heading back to that Red Raider Invite, we saw Javon Harrison of LSU in the high jump. He managed to jump 2.27 meters. Huge NCAA lead, definitely going to get him a safe spot into NCAA championships this year as well. Now moving over to North Dakota State, we saw Peyton Otterdahl throwing at his home meet. He managed to throw 20.90 meters in the shot put. NCAA leader. He now actually owns the NCAA leads in the shot put as well as the weight throw. So look for him to go for those 2 titles at NCAA championships. Now moving over to Clemson, we saw the NCAA record holder in the 60-meter hurdles, Grant Holloway. He ran those hurdles 7.49. That's number 5 all time in the 60-meter hurdles. Again, he already owns the NCAA record, so he's going to be chasing that. He actually ran it in both the prelims and the finals at this Clemson meet. So very, very strong performance from him. He's definitely going to be improving this year, and hopefully we might see him go under that 7.40 barrier this year. At the same meet at Clemson, he also ran the 200 in 20.69, as well as a leg on the 4x4 meters. So he's doing a lot. He's definitely going to be one to look out for at the NCAA championships indoors, as well as going into outdoors. Now, finishing off with some pole vault. Everyone's been asking, when is Mondo Duplantis going to open up his season? He did this weekend. He was at the pole vault summit in Reno, Nevada. He managed to jump 5.51 meters. So definitely not the height that many expected him to open up at, but it's early in the season and he's definitely going to keep improving as we get towards March in the NCAA championships this year. So even though Mondo didn't jump as high as many expected him to do in the pole vault, we did see Chris Nielsen of South Dakota jumping at his home meet. He put up a 5.66 meter jump to take that NCAA lead in the pole vault. All right, so those are some of the top highlights from the NCAA this weekend. We're starting to really get into the season. This final weekend in January coming up, we have a lot of big meets and a lot of big performances expected from some of the collegiates. We also have the pros who are going to get rolling into their season as well. Even though there's no World Indoors, we have a lot of pros competing and a lot of marks are probably going to be set this year. All right, so thanks for watching. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Make sure you guys subscribe, and we'll be back again for another video. Thanks.